How's it going, everyone? As you can tell from the title of today's video, I kind of do this once a year. I want to do a PSA, sort of letting everyone know about the Saab Owners Convention that's coming up this July, sort of what to expect from it, where it's at, and a bunch of cool other information. So if you're not aware, Saab Owners Convention is the yearly big countrywide USA Saab meet. This switches locations every year. The first one I went to was in 2017. That was in Pomona, California. 2018, it was in Maryland. I also went to that one. 2019, it was in Colorado. That's the shirt I am wearing right here. 2020, it was canceled because of COVID, but last year it was in Albany, New York. And then this year it's going to be in Sturgis, South Dakota, which is actually the home of the Saab Car Museum, the American version of it. Generally with the owners convention, it's a convention. It's not just a Saab meet. You know, you don't go there for 2 or 3 hours and hang out, walk around, look at cars. Well, you certainly can do that. That's not really how you get the full experience about it. The convention, which first off I should say is from July 17th to the 21st. It's a Thursday through a Sunday. It has a ton of different things that kind of go with it. Some of the big ones being, they have like a concourse show. They have the normal like People's Choice show, and those all come with awards for each model and car. Then they have just the general parking show lot. They have, you know, tech sessions, they have guest speakers, all these other different cool things. And trust me, you'd think looking at Saabs for 2 or 3 days straight would get tiring, but this 2 or 3 days is probably the fastest paced 2 or 3 years that or 2 or 3 days that I have every year. I mean, it's just so much fun. You meet so many new people, you get to connect with new people. I get to meet a lot of you, and it's just so much fun. There's so much going on. And then every night, especially Friday and Saturday night, they have dinners. This year, because it is at the Saab Heritage Museum, though, the dinners are actually going to be hosted somewhere else. It's going to be hosted at the Deadwood, which is about 20 minutes away from the museum. So Sturgis, South Dakota, you might think, well, that's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And true, it is in the middle of nowhere, but it is also home to the Saab Museum, like I said. And if you could tell from the locations I mentioned, every year this sort of moves around to a different region of the country. So I've gone to every one. Every year there's people that come from all over the country, no matter where it is. Last year there were people that drove from Oregon all the way to New York, or Washington all the way to New York. People come from all over the country for these events. So if it's 2 hours away from you and you're thinking, should I make the drive? Yes, you should make the drive, because it probably won't be this close to you anytime in the near future, and it is 100% worth it. Now, when it comes to lodging, like I said, generally, I mean, you can come just for a day if you'd like, but if you're planning to make a weekend trip out of it, sort of like most people do, I'll also link all the information. I should have said this earlier. I'll link all the information at the top of the description down below, so you can go to the Saab Club and actually read all this over yourself. But from looking at the website here, they do have rooms at the lodge, is what it's called, the Deadwood Lodge. That's where the dinners are being held at. Those rooms have a special rate of $199 a night, but there are also some more affordable options that they have some certain blocks just for the event. So you'd have to call around. Again, you know, you can look at the website itself. But Baymont Inn, Days Inn, Super 8, and the Sturgis Lodge and Suites, all of those are cheaper than the Deadwood Inn. So there's a lot of different lodging options. Personally, my friends and I that are coming from Arizona, we are going to be, we already booked, I should say, an Airbnb and split it like 7 ways. So that'll be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it is about a 20-hour drive from Phoenix, where I live. And that would mean 2 days each way driving plus 3 days there. So it's pretty much a whole week I would have to take off of work, which frankly, I don't really want to spend a whole week of vacation. I hate to say it. And it's just a lot of driving, a lot of miles on the car. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be driving this year, but I will be flying out Friday morning and leaving on like Sunday afternoon. So on top of lodging, there is the show itself. So the dinners you have to pay for. You can pay for those when you register, and those are almost sold out. I registered about a week ago and they were almost sold out, so you might want to hop on that if you're interested in the dinners. The Friday night dinners, they kind of have some guest speakers talk, and the food is always amazing. So you might look at the dinner price and be like, that's a lot of money for dinner. But trust me, when you factor in all the guest speakers and especially the food, Saturday night dinner is really the best dinner to go to in my opinion though, because that's where you also have some guest speakers, but that's where they give out all the awards. So they'll do like the People's Choice Awards, they'll do the Concours Awards, and then they have like 4 or 5 individual awards that'll go to a specific person based on the award, which is pretty cool. And the fact that this is at the Saab Heritage Museum is that your registration does also come with museum ticket of sorts. So you can wander around the museum as well. I have never been to the museum, so I'm super excited to see the museum for the first time, as well as the hundreds of Saabs that are going to be there. Apparently this is on a record-setting pace for the amount of cars that are going to show up. I think in Albany last year there were, I want to say almost 300 cars maybe. Don't quote me on that. But I think it was almost 300 cars they ended up having registered. So that registration cost will also include things like a shirt and a little like goodie bag of sorts with a couple little, you know, things in it and stickers. And so I would highly recommend spending the money on it. I mean, it's just, you know, it's not a for-profit. The Saab Club of North America is not for-profit. These events cost a lot of money to put on, especially when they're not hosting it at a convention center or a hotel. They've got to pay for food trucks, you know, porta potties, all these tents, a bunch of other things like that. So the show parking is pretty limited. I think they're also almost sold out on that. So because it's at the museum, the show lot itself, kind of what they're calling it, has 100-something spaces. And then they have general parking, which of course is going to be filled with Saabs as well, but those aren't going to technically be in the show or for the running for any sort of awards. So yeah guys, I will be there. I will be doing my normal filming that I have done at these events in the past, which is pretty much like one video on Friday, one video on Saturday, and then, you know, maybe if someone has a super cool unique Saab, I might do a separate video on that while I'm there. So if you do have a Saab, you're planning on being there, you want to show it off on the channel, please let me know. Ideally message me on Instagram, because that's the easiest way for me to keep track of it and for us to communicate. But usually in the past I've done like 30-second or 1 minute, just kind of talk about your car real quick, introduce yourself, and you can be on the channel, you know, shout out your Instagram if you have one, whatever. But that's kind of what I've done. And you know, if you want to see the past Saab Owners Convention videos, just search Saab Owners Convention in YouTube, and I'm sure most of mine will come up. So yeah, it's always, you know, one of the busiest weekends for me. I'm pretty much non-stop filming, non-stop talking to people, but it is just so much fun, and one of those events that I just look forward to every single year. So with that being said, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this little PSA video. You know, some of you might not have even known about, some of you might already be registered and are going, and you might not have learned a single thing in this video, but hopefully nonetheless it at least got some people excited. Again, if you want to register or you want to check out the Saab Club website, I'll link that at the top of the description down below. Let me know if you're planning on being there. I hope to see some of you there. Every year I meet tons of you, so it's really cool. Hopefully I can meet some more of you this year once again. But yeah guys, thank you all so much for watching. Wish I could be bringing this car, but it's just a little bit too far. I'll see y'all next time.